Alright. It is very late. I just got home from work. And I need to record, I'll be frank. Do I want to go to bed? Yeah, of course. But at the very least, it's a support conversation video. Excuse me. I don't have to worry too much about what happens. I just need to basically let it play out. It's probably going to be fairly full. Yeah, most of it is Byleth. Oh, I actually can't increase my bond with Yuri. Probably till the time skip. I mean, nothing. What? I guess let's get started. Oh, and this is part 2 of Claude.
Hey, Teach, do you believe in gods? I don't necessarily mean the goddess of the Saros religion, just gods in general. Do you believe that incredible beings who control the fates of all really exist?
If I were to be honest, I couldn't answer. But I'll say I do.
That's not the answer I was expecting. Though, honestly, I've recently become a bit of a believer myself. I've always hated the idea of praying to a god. After all, you can only really rely on yourself. I still believe that. You can't win a war by leaving your fate in the hands of a god. Only tangible facts can really decide a war. Which side has the most troops, the best tactics, the better organization and planning. Of course, miracles can happen. And by that, I mean things that are completely outside of your control. Things that only seem to add up if you believe in the concept of fate. Things like, well, like meeting you, for example. You just seem sort of impossible. I think everyone would agree with that.
How
You can
so?
wield the sword of the Creator. You're a tactical genius, and you have this strange ability to earn the trust of anyone you cross paths with. Before I met you, I never imagined that it was possible for someone like you to exist. And yet, now that I know you, your presence in my life has quickly become invaluable. In fact, it's hard to imagine making my dreams come true without your help. Because of that, I can't believe for a second that our meeting was just a coincidence. That means it must have been fate. Maybe it was a miracle. Or maybe some god empathized with me in my dreams.
That's quite the claim to make, Claude. I'll be honest.
Again, I don't mean the goddess of Fodlan, though I suppose it may be hard for you to grasp what I'm talking about. People all over the world have different ideas about who or what the gods are, right? Even in distant lands across the ocean or over the mountains. They have gods who see the world as a whole, who don't care about Fodlan's borders, who don't meddle in our affairs, who don't grant life or take it away. And maybe, sometimes, they'll make a miracle happen. A god like that, that's the sort of god I think I could believe in.
I think I get what you mean.
Careful, Teach. You'll anger the followers of Saros if you say things like that. I'm just speaking my mind, that's all. I think people should be free to believe in whatever gods they want. If a person believes in a god and that god becomes a support system for them, that's a good thing. That's what a god should be. Anyway, maybe I've overstepped a bit.
No, I think it's perfectly reasonable, Claude.
I knew you'd understand. In any case, let's keep this conversation between the two of us, yeah?
B+. Nice. Hilda, I can't quite reach. Leonie, getting up there.
Hey, Professor, got a minute? Look, I'm sorry I snapped at you. I didn't mean to lose my temper. I was rude to you. I should have known better.
I mean, I
thought you might
probably
say
would have
that.
been.
In that way,
That's
you're
just
just
me.
like Captain Gerald. You accept other people. You don't let petty details get under your skin. Well, when I was a kid, I kind of latched onto him. I've been calling myself his apprentice ever since. He spent some time in the village I grew up in. Actually, you weren't with him back then. Why not? Huh.
Even I couldn't
Maybe he
tell
left you with a relative or something. Anyway, back then, Gerald's job was to deal with poachers. Well, they were bandits, but we called them poachers. Nobody in the village could stand up to them. But your dad, he took them on like it was nothing. I was so impressed. All I could think was how amazing mercenaries were. I'd lived in that tiny village my whole life, so to me, Captain Gerald was nothing short of a legend. So I went right up to him and I told him I was going to be his apprentice. He didn't stick around long after that, but he did teach me a lot while he was with us. Tactics, strategy, training routines, it was all so new and exciting. So after he left, I kept at it, kept training, just like he taught me.
I'm glad he
too.
made such an impact in
I
your
always
life.
planned to meet him again once I became a top-tier mercenary. But I'm just glad I got to see him, to thank him properly and all. I've spent my whole life working to become a great mercenary like your father. There were so many times when I wanted to ask his advice, but I couldn't. I just had to make do. That's how I've made it this far. Just hard work, all on my own. But then you come along. And it's like you don't appreciate Captain Gerald at all, or how lucky you were to have him around your whole life. No, it still really bothers me. You might be his kid, but I'm still his best apprentice. Got it?
There's that bit of jealousy flaring up again. You'll get it, Leone. I'm sure he would still appreciate everything you're saying about him.
Hey, Professor, did I ever tell you what happened with that thief?
I only
I went after
vaguely
him,
remember.
and I did manage to catch up, but... Sort of. I actually decided not to make him pay for it. My pockets were pretty empty after that incident, if you want to know the truth. Well, what happened was, when I caught him, I asked him why he stole the book. He said he thought it would fetch a good price, and that he really needed the money. He had a sick kid and couldn't pay for medicine. No, maybe you're right.
Maybe it was all just a scam.
But if he really did have a sick child, that would be a matter of life and death. A little money is nothing compared to that. I'd rather believe a lie than risk someone's life if I'm wrong. And to be completely honest, there was a time when I wasn't so different from him. It was a long time ago, and I've put all that behind me now. But yes, I was. My parents died of illness, so I had to provide for my little brother and sister. I did my best to earn money for them legitimately, but I wasn't able to bring home enough. So I turned to thieving. From people on the streets, from shops, even from soldiers. I knew it was wrong, but seeing my brother and sister's smiling faces made me too happy to stop. I really regret that part of my life. I was stupid. But shortly
Know the
after I
feeling,
turned 9,
at least to us.
I crept into a
to a
local
point.
noble's mansion, aiming to steal whatever I could get my hands on. The noble had all sorts of valuables, but what really caught my eye was a book with a fancy cover. That book was Lug and the Maiden of Wind. The knight in the illustrations was so impressive I just couldn't tear my eyes away. Well, that was part of it. But certain books are also really valuable, you know. You
Yeah, they
probably
can be.
see where this is going. Moments after I grabbed the book, I was caught in the act by the noble. And that noble was none other than Lenato. But Lenato was incredibly kind. Without asking any questions, he gave me the book. And money, too. When I told him I couldn't read, he invited me into his mansion, along with my brother and sister. He taught me how to read, personally. So, with the thief I caught in town, I was trying to do the same thing, to be like Lenato. I want to make up for the bad things I've done, to leave this world better than I found it. That's why, even if it wasn't easy on my pockets, I'm proud to say I helped him.
That's very sweet, Ash.
I know what you're trying to say. My contribution probably won't change much. And it's not like I have the money to help everyone who's suffering from poverty. Even so, I can't bear to stand by and do nothing. What else could I have done, Professor?
I don't know what you could have done. I mean, it's possible you could have just ignored it. But I don't think that's something that you would have accepted, now would it?
Stubborn little... That's it! Nighty night, sleepyhead. Whew. Guess that's it. Can't let lowlifes like you into Garrigmock. Nobody likes troublemakers. Trust me.
That's one
What
way
the-
to start out.
Oh, it's you. Don't sneak up on people. It's rude. But we can discuss your lacking manners another time. Why are you here? You following me, pal? Guess I can't fault you for that, since you seem to have been mopping up enemies without me knowing it. She really thinks I'm gonna try to reclaim my title. She clearly doesn't know me too well. Yet she keeps sending fools my way like the stubborn shrew she is. That's my stepmother for you. Shocking.
I don't know much about your family.
Remember when I told you my little bro inherited House Albrecht after I left? Well, he's my half-bro, and his mother is devoted, to say the least. She'd do anything for him. Sadly, he had the nerve to be born without a crest. And here I stand with a rare one swimming in my veins. She's convinced I'll return one day to take back my title by force. Completely off her rocker, that one. If only that were humanly possible. Besides, I refuse to concede any more than I already have. It's best for everyone that I take the brunt of her malice. I can handle it just fine.
You
If
seem
I
to be
wasn't
handling
around,
it
she'd
just
shift her
fine.
beady gaze to my dad. Maybe even to my mom, who fled the house a while back. Or maybe my little bro would become the target of her good intentions. Can't allow that to happen. And that's the bottom line. Long story short, you should keep your distance from me. If that assassin's dagger took you out, everyone here would fall to pieces. How would I explain that?
I think you're giving me not enough credit, Balthus. I think I could handle myself just as well as you could.
That's some big talk, pal. So, you'll protect me too, will ya? To think someone who can keep up with the exalted king of grappling would say such a swell thing. I'm a betting man, so I'll take the bait. Let's see if you really intend to protect me. Or if those were just pretty words.
I guess we'll just have to find out. What's up, Constance? Are you happy or depressed?
Yes,
Happy.
these herbs will do. Though I note we're short on arcane crystals. I'll make a note to keep some in reserve next time. Yes, that's everything. All I need now is a test subject for the ritual.
No, I already don't like where this is going.
Not a what, who? Meaning you. Now, lie still, please. Fair
What are you
point.
doing,
A bit
Constance?
of rest to clear my head would be good for the next steps.
I don't know if
Let
I'm
us
worried
leave
about
off
you.
here, and I shall see you again in the morning. I'd better make some headway on this tomorrow. Every day counts, you know. If I can complete this ritual, I'll be famous throughout the known world for it. Oh!
That was quite the laugh.
The prestige it will bring me is necessary to restore my fallen house. Or was your question, why go to so much trouble for a fallen house?
I'm not sure,
I
honestly.
am a Nouvelle, as were all my ancestors. And our line has endured too long to end with me. Oh, yes, you don't know. Well, seeing as you are serving both as my research assistant and test subject, I should explain myself. House Nouvelle was granted its peerage shortly after the establishment of the Empire.
For generations, the heads of our house have been scholars of magic. They often enjoyed appointments to esteemed posts within the Empire.
That sounds
However,
nice.
during the insurrection of the Seven, we cast our lot with the Emperor and were punished for it. We suffered further losses when we were used as a sacrifice to Dagda and Brigid during their attack. My family, including my parents and older brother, died then. The town of Nouvelle is now an ash heap. The 6 great families decreed this to be the end of my house. We have not left now but the name. No title, no subjects, no land. Everything I was to inherit has been taken from me. What I require is
That
an
sounds
achievement so
horrible.
grand that Lady Edelgard would be forced to recognize it. And then, House Nouvelle will take its rightful place among the elite class once more. You
That makes sense,
understand
I
that to
suppose.
collaborate with me towards such a grand purpose is a high honor, don't you? But yes, good night. I expect to see you bright and early tomorrow.
Happy, what's up with you? No
Oh,
yawning, I hope.
Chatterbox, it's you. Do you need
We're
this room
sighing.
for something? Should I leave? What do you mean? With me here, you won't be able to focus on whatever you're doing. Alright, if you're sure. You're a strange one, you know that? When I came in earlier, people couldn't leave fast enough. They ran away like I was a bad smell. I should be used to that sort of thing by now, but... well, it stung a little bit. Are you making fun of me? I'm sure you've heard the rumors just like everyone else. A girl who summons monsters when she sighs. That's not the kind of thing people keep to themselves. Anyway, I prefer solitude. It's easier that way. You really didn't know? Yeah, the rumors are true as heck. That's why the Knights stuck me in Abyss.
That's fair.
If anything was going to happen, better down there than up here. That was the idea anyway. Oh, you had that look on your face. The yikes, get this creep away from me look. It's okay, I'll leave. Look how dangerous I am after all. You wouldn't want to be left alone with someone like me. Who knows? Maybe I'll get exasperated and without thinking I'll start to... Sorry to scare you, Chatterbox. I don't usually do that. Guess I haven't been getting enough sleep.
Don't you sleep on a very
Everybody
specific
talking
schedule?
about me like I'm some freak. It's been bothering me. It doesn't matter. Gossip is petty and a waste of energy, so there's no need for me to pay it any mind. The funny thing is, all this drama has made me more likely to lose my cool. If that happens, you'll help me out, right?
I mean, of course. I think you're really cool, Happy. Also, way to just leave. And then Sedith. It's been a while since I've seen Sedith.
Ah, there you are. I apologize for calling you in so suddenly. Please, sit. There is a matter I would like to discuss with you.
You're standing.
I believe I've told you this before, but it is my responsibility to aid the Archbishop in all her duties. Spiritual instruction, ceremony oversight, donation management, all of the Church's many administrative tasks.
Sounds like a
I
lot.
oversee not only the priesthood, but also the Knights of Seros and the Officers' Academy. The Archbishop entrusts a great deal to my discretion, and I am honored by her confidence. Even when she must make decisions herself, she often seeks my counsel in advance. And yet, your appointment to a teaching position at the Officers' Academy was a complete surprise to me. Not only that, but you have also been entrusted with the Sword of the Creator. I was as surprised as anyone else to learn that. And now, well, I will spare you my conjecture. In any case, it is time I learned more about you.
Because you
I
don't
ask
trust
only
me.
that you answer my questions honestly. I will be most grateful for your cooperation. First,
that's
I would
fair.
like to know just how much you know about yourself.
Probably
You are
not
the
a lot.
child of Gerald Eisner, correct?
I didn't even remember that was his last name.
That's quite a vague reply for such a basic question. In the future, I would advise you to answer such queries with confidence. As the former captain of the Knights of Seros, Gerald was renowned throughout Fodlan. If you really are his child, then no one would voice any complaint about you joining the Knights. How long has it been since you became a mercenary? Given your youth, that hardly seems likely. Come to think of it, I have never asked your age. Just how old are you exactly?
Come on.
Your face says it all. You truly don't know, do you? Just what was Gerald thinking, raising you this way? Given your responses thus far, I feel as though any further questions would just be a waste of our time. However, permit me to make one thing clear. Whatever her reasons, the Archbishop has placed great faith in you. Do not betray that trust. That is all.
I'll do my best. And in this route, I don't believe I do. Alright. That's everything for Byleth, so I'm gonna be muting myself and just enjoying the ride with the rest of these. So enjoy these support conversations.
Hey, Claude. Care to pick up where we left off? I got some time to kill.
You'll have to kill time on your own, I'm afraid. My calendar's full at the moment.
Ah, don't be like that. You're not afraid I'm gonna expose your true identity, are you? I would never. Besides, my own bloodline isn't so lofty that I can get away with something like that.
I bet your father would just love to hear you say that. And the Albrecht family is from a distinguished noble house, so I'm not sure what you mean.
Not as distinguished as you would think. And my mom wasn't born a noble.
Ah, the plot thickens. So, your mother was a commoner then?
In a sense, but it's complicated. Listen up, and I'll tell you a little story. You know Kupala, yeah? Those folks have been living in the mountains of Fodlan's throat for ages.
I know it well. Tales of that place were carried on the wind to where I grew up. Here's my favorite. In a land surrounded by tall mountains, untouched by civilization, lies a hidden village. The people who live there, the mystical Kupala tribe. They say that an ancient and powerful bloodline runs through their veins to this very day. Don't try to find them, people say, or you're liable to get hexed. Or so the tale goes. That part was probably added to spice up the story a bit, but even so, there's certainly a mysterious lot.
They don't leave their homeland too often, so it's only natural that strange rumors would arise.
And your mother, is she really some kind of Kupala princess or something?
Not a princess, but she was born and raised there. She left, got lost, and was rescued. By my dad. Ah, he fell head over heels for her. Made her his wife. That's when her troubles really started.
Did your father tell anyone where she was from?
Of course not. But it didn't matter. She was still a stranger of questionable lineage. The family treated her horribly. That eventually led to them splitting up and my dad remarrying.
That's not an uncommon circumstance for a noble house. Where is she now?
With nowhere else to turn, she went back to Kupala, even though my pops tried to convince her to stay.
I'm guessing you two left for much the same reason. Too hard to put up with the foul treatment, right?
That's part of it. If my mom had been Fodlan nobility, my life would have been very different. So, what do you think? Did I drum up some empathy? After all, half of your blood comes from...
I hear you, Balthus. Can't say I don't empathize, though our circumstances are pretty different.
So you admit it then! I knew I was right about you. My instincts are second to none.
Your instincts, right. Look, if it makes you happy, you just go on believing whatever you want.
I'll do just that. Say, Claude, it'd be a shame if your true identity was exposed, yeah? Real shame. I'm thinking you better... set up a meeting between me and your mom? She was my first crush, after all. I had it bad for her back in the day. I'm still haunted by the fact that I never had the chance to tell her.
That's bothersome. And that aside, you do know that time didn't exactly stop for her, right?
Not a problem, pal. Age is beauty.
So full. That fruit plate really hit the spot. Time to get nice and snug. Maybe do some sewing.
Hey, you Bernadetta. You look pretty happy. Celebrating something?
What? No, nothing at all.
Hey, relax. It's okay if you'd rather not tell me. By the way, I believe you left something in the library. A half-written manuscript? Your own work, I presume? I was curious who it belonged to and gave it a read-through. You're a really talented writer. I'm sorry. I peeked at the first page, then the next, and I couldn't stop. I think it's good enough to publish. It's the kind of adventure story that will make people laugh and cry. I love how you never know what mess the hero is going to get herself into next. I'm dying to read more. Your mouth's hanging wide open. Bernadetta, are you okay?
Sorry, was someone talking about a story?
Yes, that would be me. I read your book.
You read my book?
Yeah, and I loved it.
Ah! I'm so humiliated. Please forget everything you read.
Humiliated? No, I think the word you're looking for is humbled, because... And she's gone. Now, what do I do with this book?
Oh, he actually read it. I regret everything. Even if I burn the pages, I can't burn his memory. Not unless I throw him in the fire, too. No, that's awful. Don't think things like that, Bernie.
That was quite a sigh. What's wrong, Ingrid?
Tell me, Sylvain, what am I to you?
You're my friend. One of my oldest, in fact.
An old friend, is it? Then why must I clean up the casualties left behind by your skirt chasing?
Nobody asked you to do that. Heck, I thought you enjoyed it. Besides, you're real good at it. I'm excited to continue working with you.
Do you mean to imply you have no intention of acting a bit more respectably?
Please don't yell like that. Everybody's staring at us.
When you were 8, you came on to my sweet, sweet granny. My granny!
Come on. I was 8 and she was That was a long time ago.
Sylvain hit on Ingrid's grandmother? Wow.
People can hear you. Please be quiet.
When you were 10, we went to that harvest festival, and you started making eyes at a scarecrow.
A scarecrow? Wait a second. That was just an accident. A tragic, tragic accident.
When you were 15, you sought, relentlessly might I add, to involve yourself with Lord Gwendol's daughter. Who do you suppose made peace with the furious Lord despite having nothing to do with it? Me. Me, always for you. Every time.
What a jerk.
You know what? This conversation is over. I'm done.
My point is that this has to end. Not later, but now.
Fine. I promise I'll try to change. Are you happy now?
Hey, shady lady. I see you're working into the wee hours.
I have asked you before not to refer to me that way.
Right, whatever, sorry. Anyway, what kind of bizarre spells are you weaving?
An excellent question. It's a brand of spellcraft many have dreamed of, but none have achieved. A revolution in magical theory.
Revolutionary spellwork, huh?
Steel yourself for this. The working transforms leather boots into licorice! The old serviceable shape with a new, sweeter taste.
Huh. That's certainly something. I'm sure you'll ravage the economy with this one. So, why boots precisely?
I was inspired by your suggestion that licking the nobility's boots would fulfill my dream. I went to my chambers to discreetly taste my own boots. They were less appetizing than I had hoped. The thought of licking boots day in and day out was revolting, but then I thought, what if? Tonguing licorice boots rather than leather ones would make the whole ordeal much more palatable. This is no run-of-the-mill penny ante black magic. This is something new. Black licorice magic. I could lick the boots of 100 nobles if they all tasted so scrumptious as licorice.
Are you some kind of damn fool?
The common mind often has difficulty distinguishing between genius and idiocy. You sent me the challenge of licking boots, and I would say that I have risen to it ably.
Correct. I told you to do that. But I think you took what I said just a bit too literally.
Then how did you mean it? Does the licking not count if the licker enjoys it?
It's mostly something you do by way of acting subservient. I'd even lick the mud from your boots, my lord. Get it?
What? Are there nobles so depraved that they would take satisfaction in such a thing?
There sure are. I've licked a boot or three in my day.
Indeed? Oh, did it not turn your stomach?
Well, of course it did. There's hardly any dignity in bootlicking. Talking to you is truly entertaining. You're a special kind of strange. I've known many a noble in my life, but none like you. I was just dealing with a bunch of them, so the difference seems especially stark. Though, I guess you're not technically a noble at this point, are you?
You were dealing with nobles in the dead of night? Wait, what? Did you just call me strange?
Oof, I'm exhausted. Better go hit the sack. Don't work too hard, milady.
I did not give you leave to go! Ugh, his rudeness knows no bounds. But I'll have my revenge, perhaps by exposing his business with these nobles. He'll rue the day he loosened his tongue in front of me.
Let me get this straight. The stars aren't moving, but the ground we stand on is?
Yep, we're on a big round thing that's always spinning. And that's why the stars seem to move through the sky. Hard to believe, isn't it? But it's true.
I admit I'm having a difficult time wrapping my head around it. How is it you know these things anyway? If you were a noble, it would make sense that you'd have a formal education on all of this.
In the village where I was born, there were people who studied the stars. They taught me.
A village of stargazing folk, huh? Do tell. I've never heard of such a place.
It's a very well hidden village. It was a small settlement deep in the forest where no one ever bothered us. I was born there, grew up there, but when I got older, I felt like I needed to see the world. I couldn't live my whole life in one place, you know? So I struck out on my own.
I always knew you were an odd little bird, but your birthplace makes you a rare little bird.
Yeah, well, pretty soon after leaving her nest, this rare little bird was put in a cage. I thought it might be some kind of punishment for leaving the forest.
What the hell? You think that because you wanted to live your life, you'd be punished? That's ridiculous. Look at this objectively. Was it punishment? Or was it just plain bad luck? There's nothing wrong with wanting to see the world and expand your horizons. Take me. Had I never left that gutter I call home, I'd have gone my whole life never learning how to look at the stars.
Yeah. I left my village because I thought I'd find a better life beyond the forest. Now, I'm not so sure.
Regret is pointless. What matters is how we live right here, right now. You know?
Yeah,
Do you ever want to return back home?
I could say no, but I'd be lying. I've been feeling homesick lately. Nothing happened there, for better or worse. There wasn't much to be scared of. Everyone said the outside world was dangerous, that beyond the forest, all we'd find was an early grave. That wasn't exactly true, but my life was for sure easier when I lived there. I used to spend my days fishing, hunting for pretty flowers, running around for no reason.
A rare occurrence indeed.
What is?
Seeing you smile in that way. You're always so, I don't know, neutral?
That's not true. I smile when there's something to smile about. It's strange, though. When I'm talking to you, I can't help but let my guard down. I don't like to discuss where I came from, but with you, I feel like I can open up. You know, I've been thinking a lot about my mom and dad lately. I wonder, are they even alive?
And that's everything we have. It definitely did not take as long as I thought it would, that's for sure. But that's probably going to be our last support video for at least a little bit. Might be a few years before we get to the next one. But that's the end of that. I'll probably take this time to paste Petra's support conversation in. But because there will be a little bit of a cut, I'll see you in just a minute. And then afterwards, I'll see you next time. Yeah!
Professor?
Training hard.
Please take my apologies. I lost time while I was training. There are not many chances for real fighting here. My body is more weak than it was. Weaker, I mean. I will keep training now. I hope your night is good. I need to have more training. There are things that I have not done yet. Things that have to be done. For the future. I have to try with hardness. Training, studying, socializing. I will not always be having time to do those things. And speaking the language of Fodlan, I worry I will never be doing it just right. Why? Because the position of Bridget is weak. Fodlan and Dagda are big. Bridget is a small island in the middle of them. Bridget has great beauty, but little power. We will not have...
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder,
will
though.
not survive unless we get more strength. I will lead Bridget, and so I have responsibility. I have to have more strength than anyone. Yes, that is why I have to give it my best try. I am an ally of everyone, and I have belonging at the Officers' Academy. That is also why I try with hardness. You can always be counting me. I mean, counting on me. But you should know that one of these days will be when I return to Bridget. Before that day, do not try stopping me from trying. And please, keep watching over me. With you, I can try with more hardness than I could alone.
I'll do my best, Petra. I've obtained support level C.